Can the present change the past? What if prayer, healing, and consciousness operate outside of time itself? Today's guest dives into ancient civilizations, Atlantis, multidimensional beings, and humanity's forgotten ability to heal, physically, spiritually, and across timelines. Buckle up, this conversation goes deep fast. Welcome to Rad Conversations.
Welcome to the Rad Conversations podcast.
This week we have Jolene back with us again, and she's a death doula, a psychic medium, and Akashic Records reader who's helped countless people navigate the mysteries of the soul. Her website is soulexpansionguidance.com. And remember, folks, if you enjoy the show, hit the subscribe button. Let's stay friends. All right, let's dive into it. So, Jolene, how can we do something now that will affect the past?
I think that sometimes what we're doing now is healing something or removing like a negative aspect, or how we would see it as a negative. Like as we heal trauma, I kind of just see it separating from you. And I don't know, that's just some things I see sometimes energetically.
I saw a study one time, and I'm terrible with names and I'm terrible with details, but I'll give you the gist of it. Mm-hmm. They did a thing where they had like 1,500 random patients, and they brought a group of people in to pray for these people, and they just picked these names at random. And they sat around and prayed for these people, and they all had different ailments. And when the people that they ended up praying for all had less symptoms than the people they did not pray for. But like if certain people were on the edge of death, they did die. But other people, they had less symptoms of whatever they were ailing from. Now here's the kicker. The study was recent, and I don't have exact date, recent, but the patients they were looking at, unbeknown to the people in this prayer group, were from like 1983.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm with you that you can go back and affect the past.
Yes.
And once again, I wish I had the name of this study, but I just find it fascinating that if you can do that, then what else are we not aware of that's possible?
We are very capable beings. I think that we are capable of creating reality on a much deeper level than we realize. And we're so stuck in the density of this 3D realm that we feel very limited, but we aren't as limited as we think we are.
Right. And what is the biggest gift you think we have forgotten over time that we have that we just don't use anymore?
I mean, I really like what you were saying. I think that the gift of healing, like I believe that the things that Jesus did, we're all capable of doing. And he was teaching his disciples that. I think he was way more esoteric than the church portrays him as. I think he's a good example of what we can evolve into.
And do you think we all have the power to heal the body?
I do believe that.
Was that through meditation, or what would be the practice for that?
I mean, growing up in church, I saw a lot of what we would consider miracles through prayer, just like what you're talking about. People surviving things that they shouldn't have survived. And so, I do believe that my experiences have shown me that. And, of course, as I connect to visions of past life, whatever, I've seen past lives where we've done that. And I think we were even much more advanced sometimes in the past than we are in our current reality. For example, I do believe in Atlantis. I believe in Mu. All those.
What's Mu?
It's another island, I think, that was around the Atlantis time, like a little bit before. They were a little more primitive. And there was Lemuria. So, yeah.
Do you feel like our society's been wiped out a number of
Mu
I'm
was
sorry.
more. I think Mu was more connected to Lemuria. So go ahead.
Do you feel like our society has been wiped out a number of times and then come back?
Yes, and maybe not the whole society, but yes, because I think there were survivors.
I mean, I've heard things where we've been wiped out like 6 times. Not totally, but the survivors came back and restarted civilization again.
Yeah, every culture has stories of floods or these catastrophes, right? So, yeah, I believe that.
When you look back, is this the most advanced we've been, or we've been more advanced in other ways in the past, and we've forgotten the technology?
Yes, I believe that. I feel that when I was connecting to Atlantis, sometimes I thought I was in the future. I was connecting to the future because I saw technology that is way more advanced than ours. And I would talk to other people who had experienced the same thing. If I just had these dreams and that's what helps too, is like I've been involved in other spiritual groups where people are gifted in the same way. And we share our stories and it's like, oh, I saw that too, And I believe that we had like what we would consider spaceships or, you know, I would see med beds was something I saw a lot of.
What's med beds?
Like a healing chamber where it's like you're laying on a bed. I saw that one of my very first past lives that I had this weird experience when I was probably like 12, 11, 12. And it was like lucid dreaming. I was lucid dreaming. And I was partially in my room and partially in Egypt. And it started off with me seeing the Sphinx. And the Sphinx had a lion head, not the current state it's in. And a med bed. Like I was laying in a med bed and I was being healed and rejuvenated in this med bed. And it had some kind of fluid that was purple. And yeah, it was all over my whole body, but I wasn't drowning in it. It was weird. And
Can you tell us how old the pyramids are or the Sphinx, roughly?
I mean, that I can't estimate the time. That's not how my visions haven't worked in that sense, but it's just feels very ancient when I would go to that timeline.
Can you see what the Great Pyramid, what it was being used for at the time?
I believe it was a frequency. It was also a way of communicating. Now you're going to get my weirdness again.
Perfect. That's what we're here for, Jolene. This is what we're here for now.
For me, it does feel that we were communicating with beings outside of our planet. And I believe that's what the gods were, that they were just more evolved beings that came to help us or tried to. I don't think they always helped us. And I know that I had a past life as a high priestess where I was one of those that communicated. I was the translator, the bridge, I guess, to them. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Can you describe them at all?
Some had blue skin, and I think that's why they put you would see like the copper on them. They would put that makeup or whatever. But they were very human-like.
And would this be the Anunnaki or something different?
Could be the Anunnaki. I mean, I don't like to be so strict on Anunnaki and this is this, and I believe a lot of them were from Sirius. Sirius and Well, Pleiades was more with the tribal, the Native Americans. But with Egypt, I just felt a lot of serious energy.
Have you ever seen that we came from Mars?
You know, I never had that, but my son does. He tells me this all the time. So I'm like, okay, you're tuned in somehow. I'm going to listen to you. I never connected to Mars. A lot of the planets I've connected to are more, Andromedan, Pleiades, Lyra, the angelic realms, Hydra. There's been other areas that I've, so maybe I think sometimes I go too far into the depth of our galaxy, and he's more like, hey, we used to live on Mars, Mom. And I'm like, okay. I I think
I
that's a
mean,
possibility. Hmm.
I had a guy on a couple months ago during his near-death experience. On his way back to Earth, an entity stopped him out in space, and the entity was like, "Watch this," and he watched Earth begin and end, explode at the end.
Hmm.
And I asked him what life was like on Earth at the end, and he said it was hardly any roads. Everybody was kind of like tribal. Everybody was kind of together in pods. And he said that everybody was one with Earth. Everybody had great jobs. It wasn't like trash pickup or anything. Everybody was like tending to stuff, and you didn't deplete something. You took some of the plant, but you didn't take all the plant. And it just sounded totally different than what we're going through now. And it just sounded too like the Rubik's Cube that is Earth was finally figured out, and then it was perfect, and then it exploded because
it transformed.
yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that as well, and I've seen us living kind of tribal as well, where the government isn't the same as how it is now, and I've seen like these pods that we live in, but they're like in the trees, and they're kind of they almost look like the shape of a hive, but it's not like we are in hive mentality. But yeah, it's these white, I don't know what it's made out of. It seems natural, whatever it's made out of. And they were white. Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Avatar?
Yes.
Do you feel like that's you were saying blue creatures that you were dealing with, and just some of the stuff that you keep hearing, and then you watch one of those movies, how they're connected to Earth and all that stuff. Is this some Hollywood magic here that's just kind of tuning us into the way life used to be on this planet?
I think
I don't know if you get that.
Absolutely. I mean, he intentionally got some of that from our Native American tribes. However, the way that they looked, I even saw a lifetime where I looked like that. Someone else saw it as well, where my father was Lyran and my mother was from Vega. So the Vegans looked very blue. They had blue skin, almost bird-like, and then the Lyrans looked like a lion. So then they together, it looked like the beings in that movie. And so that movie was I was like, why am I so drawn to this movie? And that later came to me. I think that a lot of these movies that we see and books that we read are people really channeling messages or memories from past lives or future lives, and they're sharing with us so that we can have those codes and understandings. We got to change what we're doing. We got to get back to that way of living. And we can say it's blue skin, it's this. Those are just forms. Those are just like when what we talked about earlier, we're just spirits in a meat suit, right? No matter what the meat suit looks, it's the same thing. We're souls, and we're here to evolve and learn and grow and do better. Yeah.
Do you, and I, just going back to the meat suit, I know we're jumping around a lot, but it's fun. I mean, we are all over the place. Wasn't planning on this, but hey, we're just filling in a lot of stuff here. I don't know. Like, I agree. Do you believe in pre-birth experiences? Like, people choose your avatar that you're going to
Yeah,
be down here.
I
You
do.
choose your parents and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That makes a lot of sense to me. But like when I'm walking around a fair or a stadium or something, I'm just like, wow, you chose that outfit, or like you chose that avatar, or you chose that avatar, and I chose this avatar. Like,
Yes.
it's just, I'm at an airport. That's all that's going through my head is like, wow, you chose that avatar. One way or
Right.
another. Why are we all not Brad Pitt? Like I know
Right.
if we were all Brad Pitt, we wouldn't be Brad Pitt. I'm just like, man, this is what we all chose.
Well, I also think that there's a point where, you kind of gather together with either your soul family or or source energy or God, however you want to title that. And you go over your life and you say, I was supposed to learn this and I didn't. I didn't learn that lesson yet. So I need to incarnate in a way that's going to help me learn that lesson. Or, and you can kind of see it through astrology as well. I'm very well versed on astrology as well, and you can kind of even see what you did in your past lives and why you're incarnated in this life, and some of the struggles that created those lessons, right? So, for instance, my moon is in Capricorn, which is a very difficult placement, and it's in the seventh house, which is relationships. So I've had a lot of kind of relationships that were, for instance, I'm a widow. They're kind of plutonic, or like there's a lot of death and rebirth and a lot of struggle, and it's teaching me to be open no matter what the ending is, right? To be open to love even when I'm not in control. And that's a really big lesson to learn, right? Um, in the past life, probably my moon was in Cancer, and I already had the nice peaceful love, and now I'm struggling. I'm learning this struggle of, do I regret loving? If I could do it again, would I marry that man who died? Yes, because love is not having a loving relationship. Nothing is permanent in life, and all things are permanent, if that makes sense, because there's no real ending. It's just transformation from this existence to another.
And do you
Um,
feel like you made that soul contract with him before you guys came down here that he would
yes,
leave early?
yes, I do.
Does that help with the pain?
It does. I think my spiritual path helps me with a lot of, you know, what we would consider struggle. Me learning that there is always going to be ups and downs in life. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to allow it to take over your life and just you'll be miserable, or are you going to choose peace, joy, and love through the circumstances?
One question I've always had, and you're getting all of them today, Jolene. I believe we're all connected. Okay, we're
Yes.
all like branches on a tree, and we all feed back to source,
Uh
but
huh.
we're all connected.
Yes.
And when people say you come down here, and you're down here to experience something, pain and heartache or
Yeah.
joy, but if we're all connected, then haven't we experienced it from every angle possible? If there's been billions and billions and billions of us down here, why are we still trying to experience something when, if we're all connected, we've experienced it all?
Yeah, that's a good question. True. However, I just think that we're all fractals also. It's like we're the drop in the ocean, but we're the ocean at the same time. So right now I'm experiencing that drop moment. And so are you. Even though we all are part of the ocean, you know. Um, and in some ways we are like sharing more with each other when we come back. And I think there's going to be a point where we're no longer continually on this cycle, that we will move on.
What's your feeling on when there's going to be alien contact, open alien contact?
I don't have like a date. I really don't like to predict dates because I've had those happen before. And then, I think a lot of people predict dates, and anything can change that because we all have free will. But, some people
I
have
keep
said,
hearing the same time frame. End of 2026, 2027. Have you ever heard that time frame?
I have heard, I keep hearing 2026. I think some things are fabricated and I think some things are fabricated and I think some things are real. And obviously I've had experiences where I believe in that. It would be really cool if it happened in 2026. That's not too far from us.
Yeah, you just keep seeing all this just leaked little bit of UFO footage here, and there's Congress talking about it, and it's like, are they just dripping us enough info to get us warmed up to the idea that, hey, 2026 to 2027, and I don't even know how much of this I can even put out. Some of the stuff I just got to cut because I'll get censored, and so. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting thing to put together. But how many aliens do you think are on this? How many different types of species are on this planet right now? A ballpark figure.
There's so many. There's more than we realize.
So there's more than like 5 different. Like you hear about the grays, the whites.
Oh yeah, no. There's a lot more. A lot more.
My wife's aunts, they said they were walking on the Riverwalk a couple years ago, and they just walked by this couple, and they instantly knew, even though they looked human, they instantly knew, like, whatever they are, they're not human. And that just makes me go back to that lady that was in Dallas screaming on the plane, like, they're not human, they're not human.
Yes.
And
I think some of our animals are not originally part of this planet.
Like octopus?
Like octopus.
Do you ever watch the TikToks with I'm sorry, what was the last one?
Whales.
Whales are not.
I do feel that they are a more evolved species, yeah.
Interesting. Have you ever seen the TikToks with Megan with the divining rods?
No.
But she's really interesting and a good person to watch this stuff. But she had them going, and when they cross over, it's yes, and when they go out, it's no. And one thing that she said that roly-polies, the white roly-polies, are actually aliens. And she said that this came to her a number of times, which is just fascinating. That
I do believe, I believe that there's a lot in our nature that is otherworldly.
Thanks for watching the show today, folks. And if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and share. And like always, stay rad.